I've been working on this document with a team of teachers from our district, and I am really excited to share it with you today. I think it's going to be really helpful to some of our middle school teachers. So this document is specifically for middle schools that have sixth grade in them. So you've probably noticed if you have sixth grade in your middle school that there is a lot of overlap between strand 6.2 and strand 8.1. So there are standards there that are not exactly identical, but pretty close. And so this year I've actually gotten a lot of requests from schools who wanted some help or some guidance in knowing like what should kids be doing in sixth grade and what should they be doing in eighth grade? How are these standards different? What do we do when the sixth grade teachers and the eighth grade teachers want to use the same activities? And so I pulled a team of teachers. We had 4 sixth grade teachers and 4 eighth grade teachers, and we put together this document. And so 2 things I want to mention about this document is that it is just a guide. It's not any kind of mandate. If you're looking at it and you realize that there's something there that you need to switch or change when you're working on your own vertical alignment for your school, please do that. So this is just a guide. And the second thing about this document is it is designed to be used by a team. So the vision is that you, the sixth grade and the eighth grade teachers, sit down together as a team with this document. They look at both strands in sixth grade and eighth grade and start figuring out what in their school they're really going to focus on in sixth grade to give their students a good foundation so that they can get to the other pieces in eighth grade. So there are 2 main parts of this document. So the first page has this table that is our just overview. So this is kind of our quick start guide. So it shows which standards align, and then it shows our emphasis statements. So as a team, we took these standards and kind of broke them up and said like, okay, these are the pieces that we would recommend focusing on and emphasizing in sixth grade. And these are the pieces that we think you could focus on in eighth grade. As you're working with your team, like I said, if you realize there's something your eighth graders really struggle with, and so you want to, build a piece into your sixth grade to give a better foundation for that, and then change your emphasis a little bit in eighth grade, you could do that, right? So this is just a starting place. And so you can see that standards 621 and 811 are really, really similar. Standard 8.15 is this standard, and there's actually 2 standards in sixth grade that align to it or that correlate with it. And then the engineering standard. So in both of these strands, the last standard is an engineering standard, and they're really similar. And so again, this is just kind of our quick start guide so we can see how things are aligned and like what you could possibly emphasize in each grade. And then for each pair of standards, there is a more detailed table. And we tried to include things here that we thought would help teachers understand what the standard is asking, and also how to work on your vertical alignment and some things that would help with that. So each one has the standard listed at the top. And if you have never looked at the corresponding standard in the other grade, please go do that, because I think it will help us understand, where the other grade level is coming from and why they're teaching things that maybe we feel like are things. So you can see standard 621 and 811, they both have the same practice developing a model. They have the same cross-cutting concept, scale, proportion, and quantity, and they have the same core idea. So the core idea is this little code down here, PS1A. And so you can see these both have the same core idea. And so even though the standards are written a little bit differently, all the big pieces we're getting at are identical. And so a few of the things that you can use on this more detailed table as you're working on your vertical alignment are the keys. So in some cases, you'll notice that one grade level has it as a key standard and the other one does not. Sometimes they're both key standards, but this is one where you might look at like, okay, maybe we're going to spend more time on this in sixth grade because it's a key standard in sixth grade and not eighth grade. The other piece is, of course, the emphasis statements. So these are the same as the emphasis statements that are up here, right? So the summary table just has the emphasis statements, but you could also kind of look at those and see maybe where those fit or how you might want to shift them around for your own students. And then the other couple of pieces that the team thought would be important in figuring out your vertical alignment and what we need to really get students in 6th grade and 8th grade are the whole progression. So we included that. So there is this row that shows what students are getting before they come to 6th grade. And these are our new SEED standards, which K-5 just started this year, and it was kind of a weird year. So for example, these ideas about matter being made of particles that are too small to see, and that properties can be used to identify materials. Those are in our current 5th grade standards, but this year was the first year that they were in those standards. So it might be another year or two before our 6th grade teachers start seeing students coming in with that background knowledge. But this hopefully will help both 6th and 8th grade teachers start thinking about where we should start in 8th grade and where we should try to get students what we should be working on in 6th grade. And then we also included what students are doing in high school for these core ideas, so that both 6th and 8th grade teachers, as you're thinking about your alignment, can think about how to align things and where to emphasize different things, so that when your students leave 8th grade, they're leaving with a good foundation for when they get to chemistry or physics in high school. Also on this table, we did just put the whole disciplinary core idea in. So for PS1A is just down here, so we can see that in both 6th and 8th grade, we're working on the same core idea. And then in some of them, we included some notes. So there is a table like this for each of the pairs. So for 815, it shows how it aligns to 622 and how it aligns to 623 in two separate tables. So again, you can use the key standards, the emphasis statements. You can look at core ideas. So in this one, both of these standards align to PS3A, this core idea, but only 6th grade is aligned to PS1A. So that might be another place where you can kind of differentiate what 6th grade is doing versus 8th grade. So anyhow, just to recap, this document is meant to be used with teams. You're welcome to use it on your own to kind of look at maybe what you want to emphasize, but it really is designed to be a conversation starter with teams. And it's also suggestions. It's just a guide. It's not us saying you have to emphasize this in 6th grade and this in 8th grade. As you are using this with your team, if you have questions or suggestions, please let me know. This is a little bit of a living document, so if there are things that it looks like we need to change, we can. And also, as you're working with your teams on vertical alignment, if you have questions, if you want me to come help facilitate, if you need a thinking partner as you're trying to think about how activities might look or how some investigations might look in 6th grade versus 8th grade, I would be happy to come in and work with your team on that.